tears, you'll be laughing, you'll go through a range of emotions you forgot existed. And it's an honor to call him a friend, and you guys are in for a treat tonight. And please put your hands together, and please feel free to come join us after for Shane Koiser.
We had this whole thing for I was going to walk out to jump around my house and fame. It was a really interesting bit of music to walk out to. I love Leonard Cohen, so that's all good. Holy fuck, I'm nervous. Oh my goodness. This is my first show back from, I was just in the hospital for a long stint there. So I'm only 4 days out, so forgive me if I'm a little, I'm still very sore. Very tender, so just take it easy with me. It's one of the things I realized when you go to the hospital now, especially after you come out of surgery, the nurses and the doctors, they get really concerned with whether or not you've had poo. I mean, every 2 hours they're coming in like, did you make poops? It got to the point where I felt like I was letting them down. I just wanted to go in there and crack the bowl. And then when I finally did, I was like, I did it myself. I don't know what I was expecting, some kind of Congo line. They were just like, what did it look like? I was like, well, I'm very sorry I didn't take a selfie with it. What did it look like? Sad baby snake. Drowning. I'm really excited to be back here in Kamloops. It's been about 12 years. Yeah, it's been a very long time. I return to the scene of the crime. Because at that time, I was actually dating someone in Kamloops. Yeah, and she was beautiful and way out of my league. Like, she should have been dating, like, shredded dudes. Like, shredded, like, incriminating documents. I'm shredded, like, nacho cheese. So, it was just like, I felt very, like, out of place. But then, like, while we were dating and stuff like that, I lost my phone and had no other way to contact her. So I'm sure she felt like I ghosted her, which I feel fucking terrible for, because it absolutely wasn't the case. So in case you ever run into a beautiful woman named Amber that hates poetry, I'm probably the reason why. Are you guys ready for this? What's that? Oh, shoot. I know there's probably a few people who've never come to a show like this, or they hear the word poetry and they're like, fuck. I'm trapped in poetry reading. It's okay, I will ease it into you. I will ease you into it. I'm just going to go into this rather than try to preamble it, because there's a lot, but, okay. In times of unimaginable grief, people will offer you their sympathies. And I appreciate the outstretched arm, but I've been in a breaking things kind of mood. I've been scarfing down on a food for thought. I've got bowels so backed up with brilliant ideas, eventually I'm going to shit books. Thick books. It will not smell of rich mahogany. But the nurses will be proud. Books so badass they'll be banned for trying to define bravery as walking into a biker bar wearing a pink sweatshirt with a picture of a unicorn being tamed by a gnome. Going it alone. It's like leaping out of a window waiting for God to catch you. And in the second before impact, gravity becomes a fact so established it makes you calm. I've gone from needing a shoulder to lean on to trying to calm the night and to think it had the day shift. Trained my shadows shot with light from the back pocket of levity, bent my forehead in a kiss of brevity, hoping I could get through depression with some semblance of speed, but the live camera feed is on a 24-hour delay, so I keep reliving the worst parts of yesterday in slow motion. And someone once told me that the finer points of devotion are about the size of a pinhole. But there's millions of them. And if you can connect each dot, then you've got a diagram of what you think you thought you knew, and if you're willing to admit you know nothing, you've got a blueprint for a breakthrough. The year is 1892. Oh, shit, no it isn't. I'm not that old. I'm not the Highlander. Chubby Highlander. I only survived because other Highlanders can't find my neck. The year is 1982. A young Shane Coyzan, who looks somewhat like a cherub being forced to wear clothes, is meandering through the complexities of life. Young Shane is at the age where he doesn't really have the mechanisms in place yet to understand what fiction is. Everything's still real. Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy. If there's any kids here, the Tooth Fairy's totally real. But as you get older, you're gonna want to see that bitch less. Oh, we're off to a good start. I remember a kid with a Superman raincoat jumping off a 4-foot ledge, thinking the right colors could make him fly. I remember being heartbroken when I discovered that I can't fly. At least I thought I was heartbroken. In reality, I did not yet know the depths my heart could take me to. I had not yet seen the film E.T. One night, without any warning, my grandmother marches me down to the theater and we watch the film. If you haven't seen E.T., I am totally about to ruin it for you, and I don't care. You've had plenty of chances. In the movie, a boy named Elliot befriends an alien, which he names E.T. If the word alien is what sticks out to you in that sentence, then you missed the word befriend. The film is not about aliens. It's about friendship. It's about empathy as communication. There's a scene in the film where Elliot cuts himself and he says, ouch. And that's when E.T. learns that ouch is a word used to express pain. Fast forward to the point in the movie where E.T. dies. I know. I'm inconsolable in the theater. My heart is breaking for an alien that looks like a cross between a giraffe and a poo emoji. Right? Fucking nailed it! People are turning around in their seats to look at me. One guy asked my grandmother, "Can you keep him quiet, please?" My grandmother gives him a face full of popcorn. She knew you don't shush a broken heart. I just watched my friend die, and there was nothing I could do about it. Now here's the thing. I went to Catholic school, and they teach us about death. Or rather, they teach us about one death. And I was raised to believe only Jesus can come back from the dead. So what happens next? E.T. comes back from the dead. I'm on my feet in my chair like, Jesus, who? My grandmother's not trying to pull me down in my seat. She knows when miracles happen, you're going to need a better look. The Shushinator gets another face full of popcorn. Stephen pulls it out. It's mission accomplished. They get E.T. to the woods. It's happy ending time. Happy ending time sounds like a totally different movie. But it's not happy. Elliot and E.T. have to say goodbye. They're best friends. But E.T. has to go home. And E.T. says, come. And Elliot says, stay. And E.T. says, ouch. My little heart is a goldfish flopping around on a sticky theater floor next to a shit ton of popcorn. Shushy McFuckpop doesn't say a thing. He's crying too. With E.T., Steven Spielberg turned my heart into a yo-yo. If we ever meet, I'm gonna bite him. I'm gonna break his fucking heart. If he has pets, I'm gonna make them love me more than him. We're gonna go on vacations and shit. But none of that is why I tell you this story. I tell you this story because tonight I want to talk to you about emotion. The depth of our feelings is profound. But as we grow up, we're taught to control our feelings. So the things we feel now don't resonate with the same urgency as when we were young. We can keep it together when things go sideways most of the time. That's good news. We don't want to be bursting into tears every time our phone is at 2%. So we flip the switch and we rein in our emotions. But the more we turn that part of ourselves off, the harder it becomes to connect with. And some of you might think, well, that's not so bad. It's good for my productivity. Emotions are messy. When we're emotional, the outside perception from the world around us is that we're out of control. You have an emotional day at work, they want to send you home. They don't want you ugly crying next to a water cooler. They want you to go home and get yourself under control. But the world is chaotic. Things happen all the time that wake us up to the fact that our sense of control is an illusion. Ever broken up with someone you love? Ever lost your kid in a shopping mall? It's only in the moments where we lose our sense of control that we're hit with a reminder of how deep our emotions run, how they can paralyze us, make us physically sick with worry. Now imagine not being able to turn off that part of yourself. Imagine having to feel with that same level of intensity all the time. That would make emotions such a burden. But what if there was a pill? One pill. And yet the highs wouldn't feel so high, the lows wouldn't feel so low. Why wouldn't you want to take it every day? Emotions are messy. Why keep them around? Because it feels good to laugh. And it feels good to love. And when we care, we want to care deeply. We want to love deeply, laugh deeply. But we don't get to decide which feelings we feel more deeply than others. So if you want deeper connections with your friends, your family, your lover, you have to be willing to let them invoke in you a pain that is equal to the joy they give you. You have to care all the way. And yes, that means that when you're hurt, you will be hurt all the way. I cry the hardest when I lose the people who make me laugh the most. My grandmother could make me laugh, even on the days I didn't want to. One of my favorite stories about my grandmother, when I was growing up, the first album I ever bought with my own money was Iron Maiden's The Number of the Beast. Yeah! Didn't know anything about the band. I bought it based solely on the album artwork. It was badass because it had the devil on it. So of course I wanted to take it to school and show it off. So I brought The Number of the Beast to Catholic school, where it was promptly taken away from me, and I was sent to the principal's office, who called my grandmother in from work so they could have a little chat with her about what I'd done. Principal sits her down in the office. He slides the cassette across the desk. Yeah, fucking cassette. Slides the cassette across the desk. He said, tap, tap, tap. Do you know what that is? That's the number of the beast. My grandmother looked at me and said, well, I don't want you calling him if it's long distance. That's just who she was. When I lost my grandmother, I was in a tailspin. I pushed away all the people closest to me. I made all the wrong choices. And I was breaking down in public, and one person saw me have that emotional moment, and he called me Grandma's boy. Just added that little bit of sting to it. Ah, you Granny's boy. Immediately, it made me think of my grandmother's favorite curse, which was fucking hay. Oh my God, she loved to say it. She never said thank God, she said fucking hay. Growing up, if ever there was something I didn't want to do, my grandmother would look me in the eye and say, fucking how you doing that? It was her way of letting me know, you better believe what I'm telling you is the truth. Yes, Grandma. What? Fucking A, Grandma. Fucking A, right, fucking. So he called me Grandma's boy. Must have thought his tongue was a grindstone that could make his words sharp enough to cut me. Must have thought his mouth was a cannon that could rocket his hate into my heart from across the room. Must have never felt the kaboom that lives in between the silences of my heart at last. Worlds apart like paper, you better run for cover. I write poems. Poems. You sure you want a piece of this? Because maybe my fists were never meant for fighting, but my fingertips punch keys when I'm writing. If I'm wrestling with words, I can put a death grip on a pen. And when I do, I let it dig through the dirt to exhume metaphors that will bury you beneath the floors of the house I build on top of your body. I will not live there. I will use the house to store all of the nothing you mean to me. There's so much of it. Where did it all come from? I wonder. Where's it all going? Nowhere. There's a line inside of me that I did not draw. It was etched there by a woman who taught me never let anyone shame me for loving someone. You tried to come at me and turn love into pain like gold into lead, necro-alchemist. You tried to raise the dead, thinking it would tarnish the armor, but I take it off if it's something we're pleading for. I don't mind dying for love while everyone else is busy killing for hate. You called me Grandma's boy to hurt me, but you cannot hurt me. Using the memory of a woman who approached knives, hug first, knowing that compassion is the harder choice. You suffered for compassion. It tests your bravery as often as constantly. You will not hurt me, casting your stones at the monuments my memory builds for her deeds. All the weeds she pulled from my heart when she taught me never let anyone plant their hate inside me. We all grow according to the sunshine we're fed. And most mornings I broke bread with a woman who cast light through my every dark cloud, worked crowd control for the voices that told me stories about myself that aren't true. If you ever kill yourself in your sleep, you will awake to fractures in the parts of you cannot see. She set the broken bones in my psyche, performed surgery on the parts of me that were dying. And while everyone else was busy trying to get ahead, she stayed behind, digging through my pain, cutting herself on pieces of torment, all to find a smile I thought had gone extinct. She painted forgiveness on the insides of my eyelids so that every time I blinked, I would see love as a purpose. That this life isn't much more than a series of choices we make. Choices for love, choices for hate. We decide what we take offense to. This little dance we do has us waltzing through grief. But sometimes mercy sets a rhythm that stutters grace into our next step. She kept pace with the swells of my life. She kept me in time. I'm sorry. If you don't have someone in your corner, the way I had someone in my corner, I'm sorry if the person who's that few is gone. I'm sorry if they're distant or cruel. I'm sorry if illness or dementia pulls them out of touch. There's so much to be sorry for if you don't have love. There are very few times I've felt bulletproof about a thing, so I'm sorry if you're getting shredded by all this ricochet. This is just the way your bullet comes back to you. I'm so sorry. But you cannot hurt me using the memory of someone who loved me. Whenever she felt down, she dressed up. Said, you gotta up whatever you can when you're down. She performed CPR on the parts of me I tried to drown when I thought I could kill the things about me I hated. And when the world joked about mental illness to break the ice, she figure skated over the broken parts of me to demonstrate beauty doesn't have to be whole. That grace can exist in pieces. She wrote this thesis into my bones so I would feel it every time I stand. If you have ever held the hand of someone you love while they lay dying, you will know that crying is a language that speaks a deeper truth than words. That tears are a vocabulary we suddenly remember when we can't think of what to say. When our breaking hearts are just the way gratitude sounds when language fails. And gratefulness sets sail towards the horizon of our farewells, and we must say goodbye to the person who excavated heavens from our house. When you are left holding their halo, you will know that anything you could say will be in every way inadequate. She used to sit with me. On the nights insomnia, I held my dreams hostage. Her compassion was the engineer that built a bridge from the island my feelings were trapped on to the blank page where they could be free. She gave me the whole world by teaching me to read and write. And you tried to make a scarecrow of a memory, also you could pick a fight. You called me grandma's boy, thinking you could insult me by using the memory of someone I love. Would suggest you either don't understand what an insult is, or you don't understand what love is. An insult would be to say that you don't. I won't ever have to fight you to prove how much I loved her. There's no need for further violence. In this poem, you are already buried underneath the house that is home to all the nothing you mean to me. And when I tell you I'm sorry, it's just empathy for an enemy who tried to grind shadows into a point and walk into a hug, hate first. It is not the worst thing in the world to have darkness curled up inside of you like a seed that keeps trying to become beauty. We all grow according to what we're fed. She fed me laughter, light, and joy. You fucking ain't right, I'm a grandma's boy.